much here. Finding the Mega keeps them alive, but they're just hoping that their team can get back here in time so they can start to flip the point and keep Willis alive.
A flip is a possibility here, now guaranteed. There's going to be healing as well for Willis. And the full team now here too. You could probably take a rally fight, and considering you've got the D.Va versus the Winston, you'll probably take that even if AOI mirrors.
AOI is in the backline here, ready for the rally if there is any push here. Slow dive as push round the flank, found Dip with the overclock. Zydra again with the high noon, taking Simple out, being thorn in the monkey side there. No sort of scientific experiment can be worked out by Winston to sort that one out, and AOI is going to find a lot of pressure from Willis, but they go in a bit deep there, take heavy amounts of damage. They're just about kept in mech. Zydra able to supply some cover here at the very least. Simple's going to cut off Willis with the bubble, needs to back up to their team, but they are kind of floundering here, our vision.
Yeah, you do get a kill on to Natsuki. It's a lot of survivability lost from the Quick Esports roster, but they still have plenty of punching power. A Ray on the corner might not be a bad idea in a kind of retake position, but you have to give up that spot first. They just want to rip it.
Yeah, it comes out here and immediately Simple's going to take a lot of front-loaded damage. Not even the nano damage resistance is going to help. They were 5% away from Primal. They were hoping to build it up. Didn't get it in time. Zydra's going to clean up. A perfectly timed Orbital Ray means that Servasa is now in map point 2-0.
This could be a very fast map, and it's, in fact, series here. Remember, it's first to 3. This game is for qualification into the Overwatch Champion Series. And Vision Esports they've pissed away their map 1. They've trolled 2 flashpoints in a row. They're behind on ults, they're behind on positioning. Their comp is in a terrible matchup. I'm actually wondering what's happening.
Perhaps they shouldn't have readied up for this map either if they weren't ready to go in here. But there's the dive from Simple. It does have the Primal Rage. They can afford to go a little bit deeper. They have won a fight off the back of Primal Rage alone, and Simple finding great promise with it. A nicely timed nade is going to stop Simple's jump, forces the Primal Rage in a position where Simple didn't want to be in, but taking so much damage, especially from the Panda Hammer, gets chased down by the little Torbjorn the Could as Dip finds them, and it's already 20% control for Quick.
Yeah, fantastic start for Quick Esports. They're 2 fights away from going up 2-0 in this qualification matchup. Great dink onto Zydra, but more going to have to be found from Slowdive, who's been dead silent all throughout this map. Taejong, another nanoblade available. They're just going to play for that again.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. Taejong, very strong player with the nano, will be able to find it. Natsuki will be looking to rally, but there's only so much you can do. There's a rally and a high noon actually to force Taejong out. They at least bring those ultimates out, but they do not get any eliminations or really damage follow-up from that blade. Vision Esports, they have this high ground control, but Yoham again has beam, and what could be a final fight of this map if they rip the beam. Natsuki going down early, traded out for 1, and it's a rough trade, but AOI is going to find Zydra. Beam comes out there, is going to keep the rest of Quick alive as they look to clean up. Dip taken out. Taejong looking to be a hero here for Vision Esports, keep them in this map, to keep them from going down 2-0 in this series, where they're a team that's against the wall. They're a team that's looking to get demoted, not promoted. They're fighting for their space.
No way. They just
and they don't touch the point.
Like, can we stop eating paint, guys? Like,
Simple was there, or as the rest of Taejong was there.
Simple can touch. Simple can touch. We have multiple people who can touch, and we just decide, nah. Vision Esports have lit 2 maps on fire in one of the most important games they've ever played.
Well, on behalf of Quick, I suppose thank you for this OWCS position on the platter. If this continues, this is going to be the first 3-0 of this bracket, and Quick Esports will secure their spot. But, I mean, really, what Quick need to do is to just keep doing what is their strength and just to not let it slip away, because it's match point. They're 1 map away from making it to OWCS.
I don't have words. I don't have polite words. Actually, I think the adjustment is I don't have polite words because I could fill the airways for at least 2 minutes with nothing but like profanity. What is happening? What I think Vision Esports just don't want to win. I'm sorry, this has to be some sort of like advanced win trading scam. How do you get your main tank banned, put your really good flex support, the best player on your team, in my opinion, on tank, so you have a double main support backline, then just not show up? And then when you do show up, you're playing Winston and a Brig on a map, on Suravasa, a flat map, where you get no benefit from the elevation that comp would normally play around, into Diva Torbjorn. The hardest counters to that comp!
When I joked that maybe they shouldn't have readied up for Servasa, I didn't actually mean it, Vision. You could have at least touched the point and giving yourself a little bit more fight. You see Taejon going in to touch it. You see the Sojourn sliding in to touch. You see Simple kind of standing there bemused at what's happened, and it's just a complete disaster. Now Vision need to recover from 2 maps where like it's the way you lost is such a mentally booming way that you need to recover mentally from what's going to feel like Sisyphus's boulder against a very hungry, very capable Quick Esports. Quick, they just need to continue to play their game and they'll achieve it. Vision, they need to change things up really quickly here or they're just going to get 3-0'd sweeped.
I can only assume Vision don't care. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Like there's no other explanation. You know, there's no other explanation. I'm actually gobsmacked by what we're witnessing here. This is something pretty generational, all things considered.
Yeah, I'm sure Quick are also quite shocked. I mean, to think that the preparation, like Quick have been working towards this goal for like the whole of the Masters division, right? The whole of the Masters division, you're aware if you're in the top 2, then you're going to get into the promotional, you can fight OWCS. The whole time, Quick has this in their mind. They're finally at the one match against the one team that wants to stop that, and they don't even show up for the first map. They fumble heavily on Servasa. You must be thinking, like, is this it? Is this what OWCS has to offer? Are we actually a top 4 OWCS team and we didn't know it? Like, this must be going through the minds of Quick right now.
I mean, I think that in terms of their expectations, I think they probably would have expected to make it through in at least 2nd place. Like I said, I think they will be confident in beating Sakura. I think they'll be confident in beating Frost Sales. I think Vision Esports is more of a coin flip. You know, with IMO, maybe there's more of an argument to be made. Whether they expected this tier of like tomfoolery, maybe a different question. But if you're one of the Quick Esports boys, or you know, even sort of part of the org whatsoever, Christmas has come early. It's April, and the best thing of the year has just appeared. Vision Esports, who just I can only assume their PayPal has gone up significantly in the past half an hour because there is no other excuse for the absolute travesty that we're supposed to be calling Overwatch right now. There really are no words.
No, I know that I'm the kind of caster, right? But it isn't over yet. You know, Vision, they have been against some of the top teams. They had a rough run of it. They only beat one team in OWCS Stage 1, and it was Sakura, who are eliminated from this bracket right now. They have been demoted. So, like, they still have that experience, but they're down a tank. They're down 2 maps. They've lost it in a rough way. This one's tough, but we do know the next map is going to be Route 66. Bans have come in. Zenyatta's been banned. Sojourn has been banned. And yeah, really Quick Esports, it's on them. It's on them to win it now. They just need to secure this on Route 66.
I mean, if we see the same style of play, I wouldn't say it's really on them to win it. They just need to, like, have 5 human beings at computers. Actually, that's a lie. You can make do with at least 1 marsupial. Not the point. Point is, as long as you are able to log into the server, I think there's very little chance that Vision Esports do anything, because right now they are playing in a manner which I don't think is particularly functional. The setup they're playing, I don't particularly like. Actually, that's a lie. I think it's okay. You prefer it on flatter maps, but considering you got the Soj ban, then fair enough. You're going to feel the pain, definitely, of losing out your Ana win cons. Wait, if we could play this, why didn't we play this in the last map?
Well, what's
Why the hell did we not play this in the last map?
what's curious to me is usually we see Quick prefer to go to the rematcher as the kind of counteraction to Hazard. To Simple
How
is
is
dying
Simple
right
gonna
now.
die?
Simple is just dying there. Finally gets a little bit of support. It's all the cooldowns forced out, including the wall.
Wait,
Well,
it's right by the wall. No.
That's rough. I mean, what I'm saying is we haven't really seen a lot of Hazard from Willis in general.
Yeah, boys, if he can. There's a time and a place, though. It appears like this is it. Simple almost feeds, but a double kill instead means that Vision Esports, at least for a fight, dodge the allegations. Also, of course, pretty far away from all real beings. One might have a Ray first, but that's if nothing goes alright. Of course, a real possibility in a game like this.
And again, Simple feeling a lot of pain, forcing out a lot of resources from their own team to stay alive. This time, Quick Esports very slow and steady as they push around this corner, just pressuring out where they can. High Noon's going to come out here, creating lots of space. And as the lightning strikes outside my window, might lightning strike for Quick Esports. As Taejong is just going to go down. Dip actually finding the value. Going to get the blade, but Slowdive takes them out.
Where the hell is Zyder going?
I don't know where Zyder is at the moment, no, but Beam comes out here from the defense as one looks to keep their team alive, but one is under so much pressure, gets caught between a hard wall and a Scotsman. Downpour comes out, but is actually going to get cancelled mid-cast. A Simple will fall. It's messy, but this is definitely in the benefit of Quick.
I mean, that was a actually appalling fight from Vision Esports. They've burned 3 ults to do literally nothing. They've wasted all of their ults. They can't get a proper touch. Why did they do that? Why did they Ray? It was like 2v4. I'm actually really angry now. You've got Slowdive at least on that casting. Remember, he's got that Deadeye, so on these longer sidelines, he can lock down a lot of space. Zydra is dead as well, so you're in a decent spot for a hold.
Simple's just going to get soloed outboard, and yeah, no umbrella available. AOY comes in with a raincoat. Willis goes down to 1 as well. Simple sends Dip back, and Vision, they're able to kind of gather themselves a bit on the second point.
Yeah, a second to of respite, I think. I will say, Yoham, though the orbital rate normally an incredibly impactful tool in these longer sidelines, can be pretty weird. So I think the Quick Esports game plan, I would expect them just to force cut as long as they can. The Deadeye on the long sight line is Taejong almost has his Melthal moment.
Well, to be fair, it does have a deflect. That could have been a bait. You never know. Slowdive also going to be using a High Noon to create some space. What it did do is kind of mean that Yoham's beam really didn't get too much done with it. So that's a great space created there by the High Noon. Blade from Taejong's going to take Zydra out, and that should be enough. They don't need to overextend here. They can just start to clean up as Natsuki falls, and so does Yoham. And finally, it kind of feels like Vision have their cards back together. They've kind of got their marbles back in control.
Yeah, they've finally found their sea legs here. They spend Blade, they get out Ray. That's picture perfect. Realistically, you can do that consistently. Then with the 3 minutes on this time banks left, you could whittle that down very, very quickly. Of course, a huge bank here as well for Vision Esports. If you're quick, I might just like send my Blade into the ether and pray for it, because you can't really afford to invest more.
High Noon's going to be starting out here. Downpour was definitely looking for Zydra, but has caught Natsuki and Yoham. That'll be enough, and that's going to clean up. Right. And Deb's blade falls like a wet rag onto the ground.
Yeah, I don't like using these Deadeyes from this longer space. The point of Deadeye is to clear sightlines. We're not clearing any sightlines. We're just getting people to tuck on high ground for a second. The lack of uptime isn't creating downtime, almost, is the best way of describing it. And obviously the blade was pretty bad. Is unfortunate. From his perspective, I can see why he'd go for something like that, but as it stands, he did just throw bad ults after okay ones. That means that Zydra is farming his ults incredibly quickly, already 60% up to another one.
And you can kind of see why we've maybe not seen the Hazard composition come out from Quick a lot. They seem to struggle a little bit more in terms of taking the space and getting through these chokes. Zydra has found Slowdive, so it's an opening enough. 1% down the beam, but it was too late to save anybody, and that ult gets flushed down the drain.
I mean, firstly, Zydra is doing fantastic things on this Cassidy. He looks like a whole new player. Not that his social is bad whatsoever, but this is just egregious. He's hard walking backline. He's farming a Deadeye of fights, and because of that, then Quick Esports are still the ones in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and it's what you want to see from your superstar players. All of them are capable of it, but this DPS lineup from Quick are so strong. There's a high noon coming out from Zydra to zone. There's a little bit of a fight on the side there. Joham's going to bring down the beam. That's going to be a lot of damage onto Simple as they need to hide and try and save themselves. Dip, meanwhile, just cleans up. Slow dive one fall. Zydra finds AY and Taejong, and they will secure that second point as they walk into this long tunnel. My god, the DPS, they are really locking in here.
I mean, I think it is just Zydra who just powers Quick Esports through that, stumble. And if you're Vision, I mean, you're not upset. The time bank's pretty low. You're coming up to at least Blade and Brute. But you don't have any of your really big tools. It's Bob, Rally, Ray, Quick Esports, at least with a Blade, kind of defend themselves and will have another shake of the stick. And obviously by this point as well, I'd say they've already, overperformed expectations considering, what happened the first point. Or the first half of that second point, rather. And now, kind of playing with house money, I'd argue.
And has the Ashe now, so kind of longer range lethality. We have kind of talked about the difference between the Ashe and the Cass. A simple fine step that's going to send Quick Esports back a foot. There's 1 minute remaining though, so if Quick wants to secure the map, they need to really go to the drawing board.
Yeah, I thought they will. I mean, it's going to be a hard one, absolutely. You're about mirroring DPS ults. You're going to be a smidge later on the rally. We just go first. The root won't catch a thing. The blade. Oh, great catch.
Yeah, great catch, and it's a perfect follow-up on Willis's wall as well that forced the AOI to go down that route. Depth needs healing, immediately gets it. Willis finding one. That's brilliant because one is so close to Orbital Ray. They're going to be in overtime here as the Bob's going to be able to contest the point long enough for them to get back into this one. But with Willis down, that's devastating. We really need to create some space here. They're just going to back up. They've got the 20 seconds to get back into it.
That they do. But it's going to be hard for the touch. If they manage to make it though, they've got Ray, Rally, they've got everything bar the blade. They will be able to out-ult their opposition, in my opinion. But they just have to make it there. A lot of pressure onto Dip to make the touch while still living.
Yeah, wall from West means the backline is not going to get harangued by that hazard quite yet. Joham's going to open up with the Orbital Ray. You're going to see Vision kind of play a little bit more careful here to not get cut off because they're very close to their own. And they're going to pop it now along with both rallies up. Taejong with the blade. Stunned out right into the high noon from Zydra. Taejong sent into space. Right now, Quick Esports have a chance to finish it up, but Natsuki goes down. Simple, doing a lot more in the hazard at this point than they were the first. Dip finding one. Johan finding AOI. No healing available. Simple, running, scampering to that health bag. Trying to get back into touch. There is a Venture now. Burrowing around, trying to keep that point alive, but Venture, even they are not able to keep it alive. They will be eating rocks, they'll be going into spawn, Downpour gets cancelled, and Quick Esports are able to capture the third and final point here. Well, they just need to clean up the Tracer with 0 seconds remaining, but they're happy with that considering how shaky point 2 was beginning to look. That's a great outlook for them.
That is unreal. I mean, I thought it could have gone either way. When the Ray Blade came out, I was the most worried, but straight into the bash from Nutski, literally perfect. And of course, who else but Zydra, who's there with the Deadeye, to wipe the Korean hypercarry from the slate, essentially permanently. I mean, that is so clutch from Quick Esports. Finally forced to sweat a little bit, and of course, they come out on top. One good defense away from OWCS. If you're a player in this kind of spot, I mean, you've got to be more than feeling yourself, right? You've got to be shaking with the adrenaline.
Yeah, each player in Quick Esports has had a stint in OWCS when it was 16 teams, and viewers of OWCS have had a chance to see some of them. But right now, this is putting a lot of limelight onto what we know are really good players that maybe viewers that just watched the OWCS don't have as much experience seeing, and this is their chance to really make their mark, and you can feel that. There was a temperature change on point 2 where they realized that they had hit a wall, and they just flipped that switch. Zydra locked in, they've done a lot, and that's exactly what we want to see from Quick Esports. That's the type of team that will get into the OWCS.
Absolutely. Vision now on the offense, Slowdive on the Ashe. I think a better hero for him than the cast. The range is going to work out a little bit easier. I think he doesn't have the creative positioning of Zydra, so he won't be able to find the same amount of value. Dynamite's, of course, going to be lovely for building Ashe, farming damage in these poker phases.
Yeah, poking around, just looking for an opportunity. Just one dink is enough to follow up on, and that's what they're looking for. Of course, though, if you can force a coach gun, Ashe becomes quite vulnerable. Willis is just playing this corner quite aggressively. Very aggressive wall, almost boops AY into a dangerous position, but they're able to get back just in time. Meanwhile, you see Dip and Zyder kind of struggling health-wise. They're taking a lot of hurt. Wells is going to come back, peel a bit. Great wall, almost forces Simple into a tough spot, but they're able to keep this healing up as finally the first blood is cast, and Zyder finds slow dive. Wells finding AY, and that's going to be them pushing Vision back. Simple's fighting like a corner dog right now, actually. Finds both supports.
Yeah, great kills from Simple. He's been the bright spot from Vision Esports 95% of the other time. The 5% has been Tasia with the Nano Blade. But I gotta say, I always knew Zytra was good, but right now he's playing absolutely out of his mind. You ask me what an OWCS hit scan player looks like, I can easily point to him with confidence. The Deadeye, of course, already online. Let's see when he gets done with it.
Well, immediately going to be pulling the trigger. They know they need that space.
Yeah.
Taejong was trying to scamper away, slid away with the dash. Was not enough. Zydra baits Simple in to try and get even more punishment onto them. Downpour here from Simple. Well, it's in a really, really bad spot right now. Johan goes down to slow dive, is able to get that very easy headshot, and with the ultimates, they're able to turn around what Zydra had done to them. Dip, meanwhile, has done some damage there in the backline.
That he has. So if there's a recontest coming through from Quick Esports, and indeed there will be, then it will have some knowledge at least that the first wave of the defense of this objective, then it will be relatively weak, all things considered, right? Willis is here first. That might be an issue.
Might be an issue, but there's the orbital ray from Johan, going to force a response from one. That's rough. The dynamite went up in the face of slow dive. They're able to follow up onto them, take them out with the blade. Bob is up, causing a lot of pressure on that off angle, but a downpour is going to basically cancel out that Brigida's rally. Simple trying to run away with their life, but they're under a lot of punishment right now, as Willis is also following up. Willis just needs to watch that they don't overextend here, because they do go down. That is awful for Quick Esports. Now Vision have a chance to come back into this one very quickly.
Yeah, that they do. Quick, I mean, you can fight for it, but it's gonna be pretty rough, and they decide just to give it up. Fair enough. You got 3 minutes and, you know, change off the bank, and now you'd rather just play for the second point. I think this will be better for Quick Esports, especially now Zydra has found himself activated. Now Slowdive is off the Ashe, but still, any slip up from Quick Esports and they could find any lead that they have quickly crumble.
Exactly, and you can kind of tell when like a player's in that state of adrenaline. Willis wanted the elimination, wanted to take Simple out, and just went a little bit too deep for it. But now, of course, that they've learned that lesson, they can't go in deeper. Zydra is going to pull this high noon, as Simple is just hiding in this corner, hoping to stay alive, as Natsuki whips the head back. And Zydra is going to force slow dive back to spawn the quick way, and very quickly they're able to get back in control.
Yeah, that they are. Great stabilization, and this is something that we saw happen earlier, actually, from Quick Esports, just spawn camping, basically. Oh, what peel. You get one route and no eliminations.
Well, Zydra eventually will go down, when a little aggressive on a peak there. Dip actually gets a deflect onto slow dive. Meanwhile, Joham's just running for their life. Finally, the Brigida of Natsuki come back to help them, but it's not enough. Dip finds AOI. Very scrappy fight, but they're scrapping right in front of their spawn, so they're still giving themselves plenty of time to come back and get extra defense fights.
Yeah, you can maybe... No, you probably can't squeeze 2 fights out here, but you can have one really good one. And, I mean, you look at the check marks, you're coming up to all 5 Vision Esports, a smidge behind, but still will be able to be competitive when it comes to those awesome abilities. Quick Esports, they do like to get overzealous sometimes, but that's just because they, are good enough to put themselves in situations where they have their option, just need to maybe excise it a little bit less. Great move, though.
Very aggressive. Orbital Ray with that blade is going to immediately take Zydra out of it, and taking the fight to them is exactly what they needed to do. Vision Esports, they don't want that hope, they don't want that dream to come true of Quick. Def and Johan have actually done some work in terms of getting some eliminations here, and Downpour is going to come out from Willis to try and keep this fight alive, because if they want to, they have to recontest, but no, they are going to back up. They're going to decide to not contest for that one.
Zydra gets his one, but still it's a healthy enough time back from Vision Esports. 2.5 minutes now separating them from their adversaries. They finish at best, their time bank's going to be about a minute. Simple's just in.
Yeah, Simple goes in, thinks they could really cut them off with the wall, gets cut off themselves as Def just lays in that molten damage there. And one is cut off as well, going to be able to get booped up by Natsuki, who they're now running the double speed. They've got so much movement on this roster.
Yeah, that they do. It's an incredibly mobile comp. Rally popped from AOY. It will keep them active, but in terms of securing a kill, that seems low odds right now.
Yeah, High Noon's going to maybe do a better job at creating the space that they need, but Zydra does match. There's a bit of the cowboy duel down Main Street right now. They've swapped sides. It's as if right now Quick are on the attack, but that means that they can contest this cart for so long and force Vision into positions where they're not as comfortable and where they're going to take a lot of damage. A lovely shot from Zydra means the follow-ups there by Slowdive, and you're so right. The aggression that Zydra's looking like, they're looking like lower Arthur Morgan right now on the Cassidy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just looking ridiculous. Minute left to go. This could be the most stressful minute of the Quick players' lives, because they know this could be what ascends them to the utmost echelon of Overwatch Esports. Deadeye popped again from Zydra. At least a shield break guaranteed, but it's a peak given, not conceded.
Slowdive playing with death, but they win out. Taejoin cleans up on the other side, and that stress is still there because it's about 40 seconds remaining as this cart swings round the final corner.
You're coming up to almost everything. You just need to be able to finish it off. Vision Esports, they have the advantage of tempo, the Ray, the Blade that will be there before Quick Esports have a chance to do realistically anything. But the early stages of the fight, that's the most dangerous.
Slowdive immediately finds Johan. The Orbital Ray was not matched, so this is very much a fight the Vision should win out, and that's what you're seeing. It's clean for them. 15 seconds remaining, but Quick Esports, they've got a whole arsenal for this fight.
And they've got decent enough time. They will be able to leave the spawn doors at least. Slowdive is set up for Deadeye. Taejong is scaled for Blade. Will it be enough?
Taejong's found! Taejong's found! In desperation, needs to back up. High Noon from Slowdive from the high ground, looking to create enough space. Speed ring out from Johan. There's the beat. It doesn't hit Dip. It doesn't hit Willis. They're both going to fall. As Slowdive is the champion right now for Vision Esports. Taejong swinging with the blade. They're going to take out the remaining members of Quick. And with some great positioning from the members of Vision, they're able to hold out. They're able to secure. And with both 1 minute, they both are still in this map, but they both just have 1 minute.
I mean, I gotta say, I do feel that was not the best retake I've ever seen from Quick Esports, right? We swing out first with our Torbolt. Dip oversteps, doesn't catch the beat. We just see Willis ult the point, which has already been, partially denied by that Molten Core, and, miss everyone, and then run in and also miss the beat. I feel like if we just played static, stationary, behind the objective, yeah, it would have sucked playing into the DPS ults, but we have time to finish the beat, get our own Ray online before everybody else has kicked the bucket. But now it means it's just going to be the first point simulator, realistically. A minute left to go, one attack round between them. And Quick Esports considering a change-up. Zydra flirts with a Traitor, Johan flirts with a Kiri. Double flex, I wouldn't hate, actually.
Yeah, we saw them kind of go into the the Lucio Juno. I mean, that's just so much speed around the map. You get the ring first, and then you've got this Lucio speed after. But right now, it looks like they're not entirely sure what they want to go out here. 1 minute stands between them and OWCS, and a very clean slate. Quick Esports looking to take control of their history.
See how it's gonna work. So far, no getting presented for the sniper, though. A boop bop does mean the AOI shield does get softened up somewhat. Back over to the standard, though. No variations between these two teams. The only thing that matters is execution.
There's a speed ring, and immediately the call is made to put pressure onto Simple, who gets the wall up and can back up in time into the healers. Did go below half, but is very confident that AOI in a 1 have their back. Of course, every meter matters in a situation like this, and getting around this corner at the very least is the first challenge. As 20 seconds now remain, the speed ring from the defense means a little bit of aggression pushing into them. Dep's feeling the heart right now, but so are the backline of Vision. Slow dive so low, the reload from one almost caused an opportunity for them to go down, as well as trying to force this angle. Simple cut off, a great wall, but they do get out back in time. Taejong though finds Dep. Taejong, a very strong player, the Korean pickup for the team. Slow dive also gets traded out though. Wellis finds them. They are still down a player or Quick, and they're going to be losing Natsuki also. That's going to be where the hold is. That's going to be just around that first corner and a little bit more. That's where Quick need to defend. So they didn't get it very far, but at the very least, they've got the corner to play with.
That's the thin red line. We absolutely cannot see Vision Esports cross Quick. Very doable, to be honest. You can tag onto this point, you know, from the kind of sign area, somewhat from gas station. You've got it far enough to make it holdable, right? You would love to get a little bit more. Obviously, you'd love to win out the fight overall, but unfortunately wasn't possible. A minute on that time bank? I mean, it's just so low, realistically. There's no other way of describing it. So, one chance, one fight to separate these two teams. Will Quick Esports win this match in 3-0 fashion, or will Vision have a chance to begin that reverse sweep? We'll find out in about 30 seconds here, folks.
Yes.
And I gotta say, Zytra, it feels like the one fight here is a quiet one. Then we do see Quick lose. Now set up on the defensive, then I think he can go right back to winning ways.
Exactly. It takes one of these players to take the reins of this match and to take destiny into their own hands. Vision, of course, they're a team right now that doesn't want to go down with anything that can be described as an embarrassing display. So far in Route 66, they've been fighting for it. They've been fighting to get back into this matchup and to hold on to their place.
See how it's going to work. We walk out. Same comp we've seen so many times before. And a lot of push is given up for free. Quick Esports are just going to be hard playing the corner. It's all about this one spot, this one fight.
The speed ring up already. Wellis needs to use that wall a bit defensively there, but it's just going to continue to hold this corner. Does mean that this off angle here, we see Dip playing from
Sidra.
It's going to go down. Slow Dive has just picked it up on this map. They've been consistently finding the picks alongside Taejong. Natsuki does get AOI, but they're in a very aggressive position. I don't know how long they're going to live here. Wellis trading out Slow Dive. There's still an opportunity here. Like you say, it's 3v3. You've still got Willis in this one, but with Simple so far back, you have to make a decision. There's going to be a touch here by Dip to stay in the fight. Willis is back. This is so close. This is tooth and nail right now. They're playing over such a small amount of space. Both speed rings coming out here. That's a big push into the back. One gets hit with the spikes. Willis perfectly placed. Dip finds AOI. They're in a great position. They might have just done it. Simple's health is deteriorating. It's now just so few members. It's just the one, and the overtime ticker is ticking away. And Quick Esports have done it. They have done it. They have secured themselves an OWCS space. They have taken destiny into their own hands in a very clean sweep. You can say what you want about the first map being ready up, but they showed their strengths here. Each one of these players deserves all of it. All of the journey from before has been worth it. You are now in the OWCS. You are a top 8 team in EMEA.
I mean, Sidra played out of his mind, but I gotta say, in that final battle, that final fight, I feel like it was just Willis all the way.
Yeah.
With Sidra getting picked by Slowdive, who had a pretty quiet series other than that one kill, I thought it was all over, Red Rover, but instead, I mean, it was just omnipotent, realistically, omnipresent everywhere on the map at the exact same time. It felt like able to hold the cart, pressure, and, you know, indeed eliminate the backline from a numbers disadvantage down your cast. That's borderline impossible. This working miracles was Quick Esports, and 3-0 v Vision. I mean, you've put yourselves in a fantastic position for the second stage of OWCS 2025. What a win for the team!
Yeah.
What a win for the org, and what a game to do it in.
I know, and what a way to do it, Ed, with a composition, the Hazard one, which throughout most of Masters Division, they've played against it with their own kind of Ramatra style, and for Willis to not only play it, but to be the one that found the answer, that found the key. So one was just a little too aggressive, a great wall placement on the choke, followed up perfectly, takes them out of spike guard, and that's just massive. There's no more speed rings, there's no more consistent healing from the Juno. Most importantly, it means that orbital ray in an extended fight is not going to be there for them, and it just all crumbled for Vision from there. Quick Esports have earned their spot, and I feel so happy for all these players who individually they're all so great, and they deserve to be seen by the wider Overwatch esport audience. To now they get to experience these players, and now the question is, I mean, the next question is, like, who else is going to make it? Are Frostsail's going to be able to beat Vision, and then we see two Masters divisions and Facets on top? Or that next after that is, like, where do Quick place in OWCS? Obviously, they're replacing a bottom two team, but are they a team that's going to be able to take on the higher echelon? That's the next step, right? That's, you let yourself celebrate for the night, but the next step is the game plan for the big boys.
Yeah, well, just a ridiculous performance coming through there. A huge win. And for me, though, I think that's kind of been pretty much everything.
Mm-hmm.
A great game played, a great series, but now I think we should have to end it here. Thanks so much for Quick Esports for having us on to cast this game. We had an absolute blast.
Yeah.
And
it's been so nice to watch this team, and it hasn't been without struggle. This team didn't have a clean Masters division. They took some losses, and they were able to win out in the end. And to watch that is nice, but to watch them prove themselves to the degree that a lot of us knew where they could be, I feel so good for the players. Just congratulations to everyone, to the coaches as well, the management, everyone. Congratulations to Quick. And now the next step is to prove yourself to be even better, to take it to the entire next level. But for this, for at least from us as casters, I don't know if the broadcast continue, but from us as casters, that's us, and we'll be heading out. So don't forget to laugh loud and love yourself, folks. See you in OWCS.